Good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome,
Welcome. Hi, Patrick.
welcome everyone, welcome community, welcome team. Happy to see you here. We're getting nice action today in the market. So the opening was crazy for everyone. I hope everyone was taking something out from this, um, taking some profits, or was wondering what was going on. But this is only the beginning. It's only a little tiny piece. So we're getting much more the next few days, few hours. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm ready. I'm born ready. I hope everyone is also born ready.
yeah. So this session today is going to be on a trading preparation. So what we're going to go through today is really show you how you can use the data to prepare for an event like this one, which is really the most important week of the year. So we have election day today. We have FOMC this week. We're going to have a lot of volatility, and then we're going to start our live trading event this evening as the result come in. So today is going to be a very interesting day. Before we start, as always, disclaimer for a few seconds. All right, so the first step, we're going to go through and look at some data coming from our models and how you can use the data to kind of like analyze what's happening and what the option market can tell us. We're going to go through some stock analysis. We're going to go through some levels, some swing levels, and then we're going to show you what we have for the rest of the week. We're going to have a very interesting live event going on. We're going to start our live trading tonight at about 10 p.m. and we're going to share the information on how to join the event as well. Let me just put this a little bit bigger. So the first step that we want to look for is really how is the volatility playing out, right? So here we see our term structure for the S&P 500. And as you can see, we have a really spike in volatility. And basically, these events really tend to contribute to a cautious market atmosphere where the dealer activity around key levels could prompt reactive price moves. We've seen really a big, strong price action this morning. The market structure is massively inverted, and we see an extreme volatility in the short term over the next few days and a lower volatility towards the next few weeks. So we see like how the term structure is spiking in the immediate term. Obviously, we have election day and the results towards the end of the week. So we can see how the volatility and how also the volatility have changed over the past few days. So we see here in the chart the term structure 5 days ago, 1 month ago. How is today's term structure different from the previous ones? Then we want to look at volume and open interest, and the distribution is really confirming a more defensive stance as traders lean towards kind of like a downside protection. So we see a lot of like increased open interest on like lower strike. We see an increase in volume on the put side right here. We see a put heavy positioning really clearly stating that the market is kind of like very cautious about the event and is kind of like hedging ahead of the results. Then we want to look at gamma and delta positioning across different expiration, and we're using our option matrix for that. So obviously we see a very big sensitivity, especially near some support and resistance zones. So we see a high negative jacks in the intermediate terms that suggest that dealers really might need to adjust position frequently, and that's why we're seeing a lot of volatility. And we could see like an increased price action as the market might approach these levels. Here we highlighted 3 really important expiration that you see with the arrow. Obviously November 5th, which is the zero DTE today, 13% of jacks is expiring, and minus 13% of jacks is expiring, and minus 0.7% of DAX. So high negative jacks near the 5700. This indicates that there is an increased potential for price swings and obviously for delta hedging activity of the market makers. Then we have November 6th, which is we see minus 6.6% jacks. So obviously we have a sustained negative jacks, and this reinforces the expectation of volatility in the immediate terms. And obviously, another very important expiration is November 15th. So it's about 9 days, 10 days in the future, where we see minus 22% of JAX and 9.1% of DAX expiring, approaching the mid-November. Also, the mid-November is very close to kind of like the Thanksgiving weekend, so this is really where kind of like the activity might play out. If we then look at our total JAX here on the top left, and also from our liquidity snapshot, we can see that we are clearly in a negative gamma environment. And obviously, as we are in negative gamma, the price swings might be accentuated, and we see a lot of directional moves. We've seen it at the open today. We are 1% up in the day. And obviously, this becomes very relevant as the price, in this case of the SPX, might move towards critical levels and critical trading ranges and level throughout the day. So the fact that the dealer positioning is skewed by high negative gamma can imply that sudden shift in volatility could also introduce a downside risk. So the current structure suggests that if implied volatility kind of compresses, then obviously the dealer might have to respond with additional selling, increasing the market, volatility, and potentially the downside moves and so on. So really, this data shows you that we need to be kind of cautious on that. We can also look at our net gamma exposure chart. Here we look at the SPX, and we see obviously strong positioning at the put side, and clearly those 5,700 levels and lower kind of suggesting, obviously, the market is kind of reacting to potential volatility at those areas. And here we see how the negative gamma kind of is positioned at different strike prices. So we can use that chart to understand where is the market thinking the price could go. Then obviously we always want to look at the VIX. So when we look at the VIX, we see an increase in call open interest for today, especially for the $20 strike. And we see also the volumes there. So we see also the increase in volume. Next, we also want to look at our swing trading model. So we did a session last week, but basically the swing trading models allows us to understand not only the volatility band of an asset, but also the bias of the asset. So in this case, at the top left side, you see a chart from the 30th of October, so maybe 4 days ago. We were in a bullish bias. At that time, you see a green kind of level there. We see a lower band. And then now at the bottom right, we see our swing models from yesterday. And clearly we see a change in kind of sentiment where we have a bearish bias, and we see kind of an upper band with the red kind of level there. So the market in the last few days has moved from a bullish kind of sentiment or bias to kind of a bearish sentiment. This model obviously is looking at a lot of factors, including gamma, delta, and others coming from the option market. And then finally, if we look at our CTAs model, we also want to look at and understand how the systematic funds are reacting. And clearly you see that in the last few days, kind of the green line has dropped, meaning that maybe some selling pressure can arise coming from the systematic models. All right. I don't know if you have any question, Patrick, and then maybe we can go into Discord and maybe look at some stocks.
Yeah. So personally, I think it's really important to understand the big picture when we're going to some election. If you want to be day trading the election or swing trading the election, as Fabio was showing you, so understanding the data. We have also the swing trading model, so who can help you? We was showing the swing trading model during the earnings last week, how they was performing, and it was quite good. And I think if you would be really interested in day trading, we have the event first. We have the event for you, but if you want to trade this alone or with another trading buddy, using the data what you have, using the full data. not only the gamma levels. So most of the time people using the gamma levels, they're plotting this on TradingView, NinjaTrader, or whatever is your favorite trading platform. But there's much more behind. So understand also what are the blind spots are. Understand also what are the swing trading levels are. So how they can help you on days like this, because it could be happened that there will be no more levels. So we are above 1-day max, we are below 1-day minimum. Everything can be happened. But to understand that you have in this case also the swing trading levels, so maybe helping you to understand where could be now the risk trigger, lower band, upper band, and all the stuff, how this works together. This is quite really important, and this is one piece of advice what I can give you, using the full power of MentorQ. And also if you think like there are no more levels, you have the multi-jacks. So we can show you also the multi-expiring levels. And this is something really important.
Yeah, and I think we have some questions, so we're going to go through that. But the first step, I think we can go into our bot and we can start looking, maybe like even starting from the market. So if we look, for example, at the net gamma exposure of the QQQ, we already looked at the SPX. But if we look at QQQ, clearly we also see a similar kind of like a lot of put positioning here on this side, where you have like wide red bars. We have our put support at 465 right here, which is this white bar right here. We can also go back in time and see how this changed over the past few days. So we can go back up to a week, and we can see how kind of like the positioning has been kind of like accumulating towards the election. So we see like a few days ago, we had actually strong core resistance at this level, and our put support was right here. Then we can open our swing level on QQQ in this case. So the swing level is really telling you, and let's open this chart, make it a bit bigger, is really telling you if we are, so what are, for example, the volatility bands? So what is the 5 days price action and where can it be? So we have an upper band, we have a lower band, and we have a risk trigger. So in this case, we see that we have an upper band at 501.65 and we have a risk trigger at 470.37. So those are the levels that we can then go and plot in our charts that are valid for the next 5 days. By having a red upper band here, we also have a bearish kind of sentiment. And obviously, if you want to learn more about the model, we can give you also where you can find the information. But essentially, we want to monitor how this changes across days. So if we go back here and we scroll down a couple of days, we can see a very similar picture. So this was the chart from October 29, and you can see that we had a lower band at 484 with a bullish kind of like bias. And now from the next day, we kind of started seeing kind of like this trend kind of changing. So obviously, this is really like a testimonial of like, hey, maybe a lot of participants are now seeking a lot of protection. Maybe they're scared of the results, and maybe they're forecasting a potential downside risk. So we can do that on QQQ, and then what we can do is we can actually go and open our level and see, for example, that right now we are almost at the 1-day max. This is by using our gamma levels, but we can also overlay that with our swing levels right here. So if you want to understand, okay, what are the bands for your swing trading strategies, here you have obviously the upper band right here, which we saw, which is our kind of resistance area there.
Yeah. And what I can tell you in this case is we were speaking in this in the last event what we have was on a market recap, a weekly recap on last Friday. Maybe go in the replay. I was asking Fabio about the story about the hedge funds, what data they're looking for. And for today, I think it's really critical how you prepare yourself when you will be day trading today and tomorrow and the day after. So the next 3 days, it's really critical that you have a strong a prep, that you know exactly where you're looking for, that you know exactly what setups you want to trade and what you want to avoid, that you know exactly what is your risk, and know exactly what is your target, what you want to take. And if something from this is hitting, okay, then execute based on this. And then if your risk is now you're taking the losses and it was defined before your risk, everything is good, take the risk, and then the day is over. So it's really critical on volatility days like this, to have a clear risk management, have a clear mindset, and follow your plan. And how you can follow your plan, and I tell this anytime, and anyone, looking in your trading journal, what was your A plus setup in the last few weeks, where you was making the most money with, and then think about how you can duplicate this. Your job is only to make one good trade, and then again one good trade. And this is so important to follow this, and especially when we came to event like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think last week, Patrick, we did a really good session on swing trading. So if sorry for that. So if you guys want to go back and watch it, it's available right here under weekly recap. We did some backtesting exercises, but essentially also by looking at the model right here, you can understand the success of the bands over the past 35, 36 days. Is about 2 months of data that we show in the chart. And we can do the same exercise for stocks. So obviously, one of the key stocks that we want to look for, obviously, is going to be Tesla. This is definitely one that we want to look and understand the sentiment, the positioning. So if we open Tesla right here, we can clearly see, obviously, we have a lot of positive gamma at the 300 level right here. So our core resistance is at 300 and our put support is right here at 230. So obviously you see white green bars, a lot of call positioning right here. And then what we also want to see is, let's see and look at different expirations. So if we want to look at the same chart, but let's look at, is the picture the same also in the future, or are we just like looking at one snapshot that is preparing for the event? So here we see obviously more protection towards kind of like the next expiration after the elections, but then overall we have some sort of like positive jacks, positive gamma at this kind of strike level. So this can help you understand, okay, where is the market going? What is the market thinking? If we then move to kind of like the swing level, we can see the swing models for Tesla as well. So right here we have our 5 days. Look at this data right here. So we have a success rate of 94%. The success rate means, does the price 5 days in the future close above the lower band or close below the upper band? So in this case, you see how the price has moved over time here. We can also look at a more further in the future approach where we look at the 20 days and we look at Tesla again. And then here we have our different levels. So our lower band is at 205 and our risk trigger is at 279. And if we look back at the back testing, the price 20 days in the future always stayed in this, obviously 21 days above kind of like the lower band. So that can also become a parameter for you to understand your risks. So if we go on Tesla right here, we have our gamma levels and we have our string levels right here. So see how, for example, our lower band from October 30, which is still a valid level, is really close to our put support. So obviously a very strong level. We have our lower band here close to our put support right here. And then we have our lower band from yesterday very close to our 1-day minimum and our JAX2 level right there.
Yeah. And can you show us the NQZ? Do you have this? Otherwise, I have also on my desk.
The NQ.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I was meaning with preparation, to knowing exactly what is your A plus setup. And I give you an example, and I will speak about this every time. My personally trading setup is always from the high wall to the 1-day max or the 1-day min. Today it was playing around directly on the market open. We was touching the high wall at 9:30 at the open, and now we're going straight to 1-day max. And we have strong momentum. We have the news. So Tesla was in the news. Nvidia have strong momentum. Nvidia will join the down very soon. Of course, there will be some buying because ETFs and hedge funds, they have to buy. They have to restructure his portfolio. No worries. But this is something what you should always be aware of on days like this. Trade your A+ setup, and then follow your rules, and then let it run.
Yeah, and then we can kind of do the same exercise. So obviously, as you mentioned, Nvidia joined the Dow, so a lot of like pressure on the company. So how is the market prepared for that? What is the market thinking? And clearly, we see obviously a very similar picture where we have a very strong core resistance level up to the 140 price, and we don't see too much downside protection at the net side. So we see obviously very, very narrow bars right here. We can also do the same exercise, so we can go and see our NetJAX multi-expiration on NVIDIA, and we can clearly see kind of like a very similar picture. So the market, obviously, this is kind of like how the market is thinking about the company. And then obviously, again, open your swing levels. Maybe let's look at 5 days. And here we have our lower band right here. And again, over the past 38 days, the price of NVIDIA always closed above the swing band 5 days in the future. And then if we go to the 20 days, we also have very similar things. So 100%. So whenever you have a lower band over the past 20 days, kind of like the price always closed above this, above the lower band in this instance.
And again, so it's on days like this, I think as a trader, especially as a swing trader, we're looking always for the news. So today there was something on Tesla, the news. We're seeing that Tesla is rising. We're seeing the news on Nvidia. It was over the weekend. Now it was on Monday where the action was beginning. And now when it comes to election, think about also what is the favorite stock from each one. So if maybe Donald Trump is winning, he have also so favors. And if Kamala Harris is winning, or the odds going to Kamala Harris, what are the favor from Kamala Harris? And then look into the news and become strategic. Think like a big institutional trader. Don't think in this moment as an retail trader. Learn to think like in big money, that you're having big money and you have to place your trades like this. Become the big picture, getting the big picture. It's so important, especially now.
Yeah, and I think also going back to obviously what the big funds will be doing, they will be monitoring the situation, and then they'll be placing obviously strong bets for the future, because one or the other candidate will have an impact on taxation, on tariff, on potential growth. So they'll be rotating their portfolio as well, and we would see a lot of volatility there.
Yeah, and I like your question, Malax3, on Eurofuture. What are the levels for this day? Maybe we can show you this on the chart. It's a 6E future. But it's also a good point. If you be a forex trader, or if you be a Bitcoin trader, you must have the same mindset like a stock trader or ETF trader. What are the news telling you? How you can position yourself, especially as a forex trader or Bitcoin trader? It's really important, and yeah, I cannot stress this enough. Oh Jesus, the euro. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have the Euro future levels right there. So you can see here in this case, our JAX levels at high vol level right here and 1 day max as well.
Yeah.
If we obviously we looked at tech, but let's look at maybe some sort of like other data sets at energy companies. Maybe like it's an interesting kind of also area, so we can have all the different sector. We cover about 1,000 assets, so you can look at the same data with different companies. So whether you're financial, so we can do, for example, if we look at Goldman Sachs as well, we can look at the different positioning. You can play the levels, plot them in the chart, and analyze, kind of like using the same approach, basically.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And think about also, anytime when there's a winner, there will be a loser. So, for example, Tesla, Elon Musk. So we want not become political, but if Tesla becomes strong, so which party will be losing? Which competitor from Tesla will be losing? Because people saying now, okay, now Tesla is on the favor side. So you have also think about this. Thinking about also about the winners and the losers. So if you want to be short, it could be possible thinking about the losing side.
Yeah. Yeah, and also think about supply chain as well. The impact on supply chain, the impact on other countries. So if you obviously are interested in that, then obviously looking at different suppliers of different companies can be also good. We have a question from Damian. Google, sure, we did Google last week as well. So we cover Google during earnings. So if you go back also to look at our video, you can see what we did there. But if we go on our net JAX and we type Google, so here we see obviously our 180 is still our strong core resistance level right there. And then if we want to look at our swing model, then here we have our lower band 164, risk trigger 176. And again, this is the success rate of the model. If you want to go back to our weekly recap right here, we show like a back testing results on using the swing model for directional trades on Google, as well as spreads, like so selling call and put spreads. And we have some documentation that we would put out on the website as well.
Yeah, and Sherry, on the swing chart working on Palantir, really good. Yeah, thank you again for the confirmation. So this is why we believe in the levels. So yeah, it's like trusting the levels. So the biggest issue is not that the levels not working. The levels are working. The biggest issue is that we trader most of the time having an issue to trust the levels. So we must learn and become more and more comfortable with levels. So trust the levels, trust the process. This is really key. And yeah, you can make your own backtest. You have all the data, so you can do this and become more and more comfortable with the levels.
Yeah. Let's see if we get more questions. Yeah, and you can also obviously do it on different assets. So let's go. I think we have a question from Khalid about gold. So we have GLD right here. So we can see our net gamma exposure on gold right here. We can then also go back to get our swing model. So here you have also the same information, but on gold and other commodities, we also have the data on futures. So you can also look at different charts on commodities, on metals, rates, Forex, and so on. So you could actually also look at the net gamma exposure of the gold future as well.
but it's maybe say about something about the data sources and the main difference between indices, futures, stocks, ETFs, so that people are understanding when we're talking about futures, what we mean.
Yeah, so for example, if you're, let's go back and let's show the example of the SPX, right? So the SPX obviously is the most traded asset, and the SPX has an option chain. So there are options on SPX, but there are options on also the future. So the future of SPX is ES. ES would have its own option chain. Then we have the ETF, so we have the SPY, and the SPY also has its own option chain. And then we have SPX, of course. So you see that clearly the pictures are different, right? Yeah, obviously very similar. There's a lot of correlation, but as you can see, for example, if we look at SPY, we see a different picture compared to, for example, ES or SPX. And what you need to understand, which I think is very important, is who is the customer of those three assets, right? So who trades those assets? Always think who is on the other side. So if you look at SPY or if you look at GLD, for example, or USO, maybe the main customer of these ETFs is the asset manager that have a long-term horizon, they have a long-term view, or the retail trader that are putting those ETFs into their 401k. So they're not really betting on short-term movement, but they're actually looking more towards a longer-term investment, also for tax purposes. So looking at, for example, a divergence between, for example, the net gamma exposure of SPY versus SPX, or maybe the swing model of SPY versus SPX could actually give you some good ideas. And and the data sources are completely different. So we have the three of them. So we have the spot, obviously the index, the ETF, and the future. So you can actually use the different levels.
But can I ask you some question, Fabio? And
Yeah.
I was doing this in the past also, because I have directly sourced to Fabio. That's nice to have. So if you be in futures trader and you're using, of course, the futures gamma levels, what you would be at as a second one? Do you would be at more the SPY, or you would more at SPX? What would be your favor?
So if I traded ES in this case, I would use the SPX as another conversion, because the
And the
SPX
same for,
obviously.
is the same for NQ also, NDX?
In that case, I would use QQQ because we
All
see
right.
more volumes on QQQ. So think about QQQ as about, I don't know, 500 billion AUM or something like that. So like QQQ obviously is the most traded ETF for tech companies, and it's obviously a lot of that is also option. And then you have SPX, which obviously has the largest volume of options if you're trading the S&P.
All right, James, I hope you understanding now the inside information. So if you're trading the ES, so it's a good idea to plot as a second source SPX, convert SPX to ES, then use also the blind spots. And for NQ, if you be trading the NQ, plotting the QQQ and using also the blind spots. So this is some inside information what I was getting also from Fabio a few weeks ago, but it's really important to understand what is now the more important thing. We have NDX, we have QQQ, and we have NQ. So first, now, what are the customers? And second, what you trade, what can you plot as second source? This is really, really, really critical to understand.
Like, for example, Patrick, a lot of our customers want to trade YM, so the Dow Jones futures, but there is not any option activity on Dow Jones, right? On the maybe it's because of the strike price is very high, so having option on those strike prices would be too expensive. So in that case, how can you go about it? So you can actually convert the DIA ETF, which is one of the main ETF for Dow Jones if you want to get exposure, and then convert into YM, and that really works really well as well. So using that conversion whenever you don't see the asset works really well.
Yeah.
So to answer this question, Rajinder, if you use ES, just use the ES blind spots. Don't worry about converting, because yeah, you would just duplicate the activity. So the yes already will be sufficient for what you're trying to do on yes. All right. Let's see if we get more questions. Maybe, Patrick, we can talk about what's going to happen then tonight, right?
Many things will happen tonight.
Yeah, so tonight, obviously, we are not going to have, obviously, the final results. So, but we are going to start seeing results coming in. And we thought this would be the perfect time to showcase the data and showcase, obviously, how a professional trader like Patrick can actually approach this in real time. So tonight, we're going to start our live trading event, and we're going to start at 10 p.m. And obviously, we did a session yesterday. This was more like mindset preparation, and today we showed you what the data tells you. But tonight it's going to be an exclusive event that's going to start at 10 p.m. We're going to go on for 3 hours and maybe longer. Let's see what happens throughout the day. And then tomorrow morning we're going to do an 8:30 a.m. market preparation, and then we're going to also do another live session at 9 a.m. And then we're going to have a trade recap on the 7th. And then on the 7th, also, we're going to have FOMC. So we're going to also do a live trading session through that event. Maybe, I don't know, Patrick, if you want to like just tell how you're preparing for this event and what we can expect.
Yeah, so how I'm preparing. So for me, 10 p.m. is really early in the morning. I think it's 4 o'clock or something like this. So how I prepare for this, so it's like getting fresh mind. So after this call, I will go sleep, and then wake up at I think 7 p.m. Eastern. I will be wake up again, because then they are getting some little action. I will be there, and also then the market preparation begins for me. So I'm looking into price areas, what is really important, what I really want to see. I will look into the swing trading models, what we were showing you also, to get an idea when the market moves in some direction. If the market moves up, okay, where we can possibly stop, because the worst case is that we're letting profits on the table because we're getting out too early. So this is something where I want to prepare how big we can go, basically on data. But this doesn't mean that we have to go directly there. We can go much higher or something like this. But I want to get an idea. The same is for the downside. If the market will be came down, so how deep we can go down based on the data what we have. All this stuff is really important. And then make the notes on my charts for the people who live trading. Also make notes for me what I want to share with the people. Yesterday, for the people who was there in the event, we were speaking about accountability. Accountability is one of my major thing, because Fabio gives me the pressure. He was saying, "Hey, Patrick, think about 1 million trade, you know it." But I was saying, okay, Fabio, money is good, but there's something more important for me, and this is my currency. If you're joining the events, so the live trading or the next events, I want that you learn something, or that you're making also profits. So this is my currency. If you be getting out of the course and saying, man, this was a really nice call, this was so amazing, I was learning so much, or I was making good money, because now I'm understanding more how to use MentorQ. I was learning now more to become more patient. I was becoming more like to thinking about, wow, to think about the mindset a little bit better, or to speak with other ones, with Fabio and Patrick, if I have some issue when I be live in the market. So we are there. So you can come anytime and ask us the questions. So this is my main goal, that we working together as a team, strong together as a team. And yeah, so that will be my goal.
That's good. And great question. Yes, new data will be there. The futures data will be updated at around 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So we will have the live data for when we start. And obviously, we're going to talk about preparation. We have all the index level by 7 p.m. tonight. So everything will be there for you guys. And so basically, how can you take part of this event? So this event will be streamed within our Premium Academy. So you can find all the links right here. So here we have the recording from yesterday. We have obviously the ones from today. We will have the session starting, and then we have all the things for tomorrow, and then on November 7th. So in order to get access, I just pasted the link right here. So let me just paste this again here in the comments. You will need to get access to our yearly plan and get access to the Academy. And we also have a coupon code for you guys if you want to join that will give you a 25% discount. You can then not only access the event tonight, but you also get access to our full data and Academy for the next 12 months. So that's going to give you access to everything that we showed you today, all the data, all the levels, all the integrations, and so on. And then at the end of the month, so we are, I think, Patrick, less than 4 weeks away. We're going to have a massive product release, which is going to be intraday gamma levels on stocks, indices, and ETFs. This will be updating many times per day. So again, this will also help you to understand how the market is shifting during volatile events. So that's going to be a big one. And we're also going to have more integration coming. We are releasing our Bookmap, our Quant-Tower integration, and we'll be connecting automatically to all the other platforms. So this can be a massive, massive product release. And then Patrick, we're going to have a very big surprise. So we just had a product session today. So what's coming at the end of the month will be really amazing, guys. So please stay tuned. I don't want to spoil it, but we're going to have a big session at the end of the month.
Where we have the product session?
No, I won't be able to show it today, but we just had like a demo from our product team of what's going to come out at the end of the month, and it's going to be really, really great. So stay tuned, guys. We'll update you over the next few weeks once we have more from the team, but they've been working around the clock. Really thanking them. They've done an amazing job. And yeah, we're excited to show you what we're going to bring at the end of the month. So the weekend of November 29, we'll be releasing. So stay tuned. Stay ready. See if we get more questions. If you have any questions about the event, about our data, please do not hesitate to contact us, info@mentorq.com. And then obviously, if you want to join our event, you can just go right here on our pricing page or click on the link right there and just sign up with the coupon code that we provide you down there, which is US 2024.
Yep.
All right. So with this, I think, Patrick, I'll let you go sleep and get ready for tonight. It's going to be a lot
Yeah,
of
but I
action.
have a question. So normally we have our Q&A Zoom call for the members this week. This will be canceled. This is correct?
No, we're still going to have it. Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Okay, correct. Cool.
Yeah, I'll be there. So yeah, we have a session, guys, today at 1:30. So I'll be there for you guys, answer any questions. All the links are posted here on Discord. So if you go under live session, you can join. Let me actually just put it here in the chat as well.
All right. 1:30. Okay, I will be also there for 30 minutes, but then I have to go to sleep. So
Yeah.
if you have some questions about MentorQ, go in our Discord. You can join for free, and then ask any question what you have about the levels. I will be there also for 30 minutes, but after this, I have to go to sleep. But 30 minutes I will be also there.
Okay, sounds good. All right, great. Thank you, guys, and see you soon. And speak to you later, Patrick. And get ready for tonight.
Yep. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.